Okay, these are some of the basic necessities you're going to need for the end times. You're going to need propane, and I have a burner that can cook with pots and pans. You're going to need pots and pans. You're going to need propane. You're going to need a radio. This is an AM/FM radio. Make sure you have extra batteries for that. You're going to need bandages, because you guys, I'm sure the people in Ukraine or the people in Damascus weren't ready for their war, right? And when you see what Trump's doing in office, how he's provoking all these countries. So you're going to need one of these. This is a compass. This is a compass. You're going to need one of these guys. Because if you're out there, you don't have a map, you don't have GPS. And by the way, so you're going to need hand warmers. You're going to need bandages. And these are great because you can also do bartering with them. Like if somebody gets hurt, you can say, hey, can I get a bar of soap? I'll give you a couple of bandages. Okay, you need those. I got plenty of those. Variety pack, I got that. So you're also going to need these guys. This is a great little gadget here. If we have an EMP attack, these little flashlights, they work on solar, and also you can wind them up. And I already tried them, they work. So I got 4 of those. And you're going to need sunscreen. If you're out in the wilderness, you know, you can't protect yourself from the sun. Now these are 100-hour candles. They burn for 100 hours. And I think I ordered some regular candles too. You're definitely going to need duct tape. Now this is soap that you're going to need. Because, you know, if the power goes out or we have a third world war, this stuff is not going to be at the grocery store, guys, so you got to prepare. So I got duct tape. You're going to need a couple tarps. You're going to need rope. You know, this is basic survival stuff. Now these are personal water filters. I think there's 6. Yeah, this is a 6-pack. You could drink water out of Lake Michigan. You could drink water out of a stream. And you don't have to count on the government. Now I got to do some research and find out how long these last. But, you know, when the crap does hit the fan, are you going to be one of those people that don't have anything? You know, you don't have anything to barter with? So like one of these candles. You could tape that for some good dish soap or, you know, laundry detergent. And I also got it hasn't come in the mail yet, but I ordered, most people don't think about it, but if you're out in the wilderness for a few days, you're going to need clean clothes. So I ordered a washboard, you know, the old-fashioned washboards that you can get. This is basic preparedness, you know. We got to be prepared because we don't know what the government's going to do. Like I said, the people in Damascus know that anything was going to happen before it did. The people in Ukraine, you know, a lot of them would love to have this stuff, and I'm sure they're bartering with this stuff right now. So this is just basic stuff. You're going to need paper towels. You're definitely going to need toilet paper, unless you want to wipe your fanny on leaves, which I don't recommend. I did that one time when I was a kid up in the mountains, and I got poison ivy on my butt. Not fun, guys. Of course, now I know what poison ivy looks like, but you definitely need a little radio, and also walkie-talkies, or what they call a ham radio. So this is basic stuff. If I'm leaving anything out, which I know I am, I'm going to keep working on little by little, you know. I'm not rich, but little by little I'm getting stuff for the end times prepared. And now if I don't need them, great. You know, in the future I can always, you know, use them. You're going to use the soap. You're going to use all this stuff. Duct tape. I'm in construction. I use a lot of duct tape anyway. Rope, but you're going to need this like when you're making up with a couple of tarps. You're going to need rope, duct tape to make you a tent out in the wilderness. I also have a tent, a little 2-man tent. Flashlights, you're going to need extra. If you do have, you know, flashlights, you can get extra batteries for them. But with those little flashlights, you don't need extra batteries. All you need are, you wind them up or you put them in the sun. So definitely bandages, because you don't know when you get out there. You know, we got to be prepared, guys. And I also have powdered milk, because I love my milk. And I tried it. It doesn't taste that great, but it's better than nothing. But remember, you can get powdered milk, you can get powdered food. I'm not really worried about the food end of it, because I can fish and I can make traps and stuff like that, you know, catch a rabbit, cook it or whatever. Plus the Lord will provide. But you know, we got to get used to fasting too. So this is my video on little basic preparedness, you guys. We might want to get ready, because like the people in the Carolinas, when all that flooding came, you know, a lot of them weren't ready. They didn't have the basic necessities. And then FEMA had to come in. Even FEMA was botched. You know, they even botched FEMA. So a lot of people didn't have anything. At least you're going to have a tent. You're going to have a way to drink cold water out of the stream. You're going to have a light. And I would buy some extra thermals. And this is stuff that you can put in a couple of backpacks if you have to leave. So yeah, think about the future, guys. We don't want to be those people that... And here's how I started doing this. I had a dream that I was out walking around and it started to rain and nobody had an umbrella. And I think I got in my spirit that nobody was prepared. You know, we got to prepare our house. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't trust the government as far as I could throw them. They're all Luciferians. So yeah. All right, guys. Till my next video. If I forgot anything, or you guys can think of anything, leave it in the description box. Okay. Keep trusting the Lord.